Hello friends, welcome to GSTZen webinar series. In this video, I am going to explain you about GSTR2B. Yes, GSTR2B is a new concept that is coming up. So what I am going to discuss is all about the legal provisions behind the introduction of GSTR2B. What does the GSTR2B consist of? What are the tables and data in the GSTR2B? Critical points and how do we analyze GSTR2B? And how do we access to be on the portal and some practical tips. So let's get on to the discussion. Coming on to the legal provisions and rules where the power for GSTR2B is coming in. Now if you ask me the section number and the rule number for 2B, it is not notified yet. Very soon that would come up. But we need to definitely know two things. One is the rule 36 sub rule 4, wherein it says the ITC to be availed by a registered tax person in respect of the invoices which have not been uploaded by the supplier under section 37 subsection 1, so which is GSTR 1. So ITC that needs to be availed which have not been uploaded will be 10% of the eligible credits available in respect of the invoices which have been uploaded. So the invoices for which you can take credit along with 16 subsection 2, you also got to fulfill another condition 36 sub rule 4. So the supplier should have uploaded the invoice. So it becomes a critical. GSTR 1 is filed generally on 11th. On 11th, you should be able to see what are the credits that are available to you. And you are aware that GSTR 2A is a dynamic document. You will never get to see what is the date one has filed and how much credit is available when you are filing your GSTR 3B on 20th. To highlight this, we also have the circular 123, and one of the key question which has given in the circular is what about my missing invoices? Since 2A is a dynamic document, what amount of ITC is admissible for a particular tax period for the invoices not uploaded by the suppliers? The answer they have given is the amount of ITC in respect of the invoices that have not been uploaded by the suppliers shall not exceed 10% of the ITC, eligible ITC available to recipient in respect of the invoices that are uploaded. So the word becomes very critical that you get the uploaded data only. And the taxpayer may have to ascertain the same from his auto-populated information of 2A as on the due date of GSTR 1. Now this puts a hardship on the taxpayers, the registered taxpayers availing input tax credit, for them to put on a reminder on 11th or the appropriate due dates for them to check whether they are eligible for an input tax credit or not. So GSTN has come up with a new concept or a new idea which is GSTR2B to solve this issue. So let's look at what does GSTR2B consist of. GSTR2B will have a summary sheet of eligible and ineligible input. Please note, when I am talking about ineligible, I am not talking about anything on 17 subsection 1, 2 or 5. From the government perspective, whatever which is ineligible is the place of supply is not equal to the location of recipient. And the classic example, I from Bangalore, Karnataka travel to Maharashtra, Bombay, stay in a hotel. The hotel would issue an invoice of CGST as GST of Maharashtra. So the tax of Maharashtra will not become an eligible credit for me here in Karnataka. So the GSTN portal would also mark these credits are ineligible. And very importantly, GSTR2B will have tables that would be linked directly to GSTR3B. Yes, you are hearing right. The government is coming up with a mechanism to include the line items of GSTR2B into GSTR3B. We all by now know that the new returns have been scrapped or kind of scrapped, and government is working on auto-populating of the data which is there in the current returns. So the GSTR2B is going to become a base document. So let us understand how the data flows from GSTR2B to GSTR3B. Now GSTR 2B would be populated from GSTR 1, GSTR 5 and GSTR 6. So including ISD credits, all the line items would be coming. Not only just that, it would also have the data coming from IceGate. So the GSTN would get the data of import of goods directly from abroad or imports from SEZ. Even this would get auto-populated. So from the recipient, the GSTR 2B data is auto-populated, and this auto-populated data corresponding to GSTR 3B, which is 4A1 import of goods, 4A5 all other credits. So corresponding GSTR 3B is also auto-populated in order to ensure there is no data mismatch. Now it brings us a critical point as to what does this GSTR 2B consist of and how does this auto population mechanism happen. So let's first analyze into GSTR 2B. Critical points one needs to know what is there in GSTR 2B is this is an auto drafted input tax credit statement which will be generated for every recipient. So every registered taxpayer, this would be generated on the basis of the information that is furnished by the suppliers either in GSTR 1, GSTR 5 or GSTR 6. This statement will clearly show the input tax credit available and not available for every document that is filed by any supplier for the recipient. Now, this is a static statement. It would be made available once a month. So on 12th, as of now, the government, the GSTN is considering to put a cutoff date as 12th of the succeeding month for which the statement is being generated. For example, for the month of July, the midnight of 11th or the beginning of the 12th, the statement gets generated. Unlike ANX2, which is like a real-time data, GSTR 2B generated on 12th of August. So every month on 12th, a data point gets generated by the GSTN. So the point of initiation is the midnight of 11th. So that is the cutoff date. So let's look at some of the examples. So GSTR 2B will consist of all the documents filed. It's not about the invoices pertaining to the period. It is about the documents that are filed between the filing date of the GSTR 1 of the previous month. So if I am talking about for the month of July, one will be filing on by 11th August. So what would be coming up is from 12th July onwards till the current month. So if we look at this example, so for GSTR 2B generated for the month of July 2020 will consist of all the documents filed by the supplier in GSTR 156 from midnight of 12th July till 11th August midnight, which is 23:59. That is all the data that would be coming up. As I said, IceGate data would also get populated into it. SEZ would get populated into it. The GSTN is doing the integration. Initially, for the first month, the import of data, goods data will not be made available. If all goes well, on 15th June, on 15th of August, you would be seeing the first draft of GSTR 2B. So 15th, if it is available, then you would find this. And hope so, this might be, as you are watching this video, GSTR 2B might be available on the portal too. Please make note of it, right? Now continuing further, some more examples. It is also relevant that one makes an attention to the date on which it is generated and the document that is available. Let's take one small example. So the documents filed by the supplier GSTR 156 would reflect into the next open GSTR 2B. Now if we take an example, if a supplier is filing an invoice number 1 dated 15th July on 11th August, so it would get reflected in the GSTR 2B of July. If it is filed on 12th August, then it gets reflected in 2B of the August. So what is now more important is the filing date, not the document date. I have also taken some more examples for you to understand. What is the impact of this? Impact of this is someone is filing late. either a monthly filer or a quarterly filer, quarterly regular filer or a monthly later person who files late, the credit for the recipient is going to be at risk. Let me give you how this happens. Let's take a monthly filer. Someone for the month of March 2020, the document return should have got filed by 11th of April. If it is filed on 12th April, instead of 11th April, it is filed on 12th April, it would get reflected in the GSTR 2B of April. It is not going to get reflected in March 2B. If the same document, I am talking about March 2020 GSTR 1, if it is filed on 10th August, then it would be available in July 2B. If it is filed on 10th August, it would be available in July 2B. If it is filed on 11th August, also it will be filed in July, it will be available in July 2B. But if the document is filed on 12th August, then this would be available in the August month 2B. So one has to be very careful. Just because of 1 day delay, the input tax credit is deferred for full 1 month. And if it is filed on 31st August, a March return filed on 31st August, even then it would be available in the input tax credit ledger for the recipient in August 2B. So this makes it very important for a recipient to track supplier by supplier when they are filing, when the credit would be available. I have talked about a monthly filer who is filing late, but if you look at a regular quarterly filer who is filing on time, let's take the due date is 11th. This is also a monthly thing. The due date is 11th June. The filing date is 13th August because owing to the COVID we have some relaxation. So we are talking about a May 20. Now if the return is filed on 13th August, then it would be available in August 2B. So August 2B, when someone is filing a return in September, August month return, they are filing in September, at data of May, they are eligible to take credit in September. Now you may say that this is going to become a hardship for the recipients. I would agree that the recipients would have to defer the claim of ITC till August 20. This is going to put a working capital, but yes, this is the law that is now going to come up, so let us be geared up with this. In case of a quarterly filer for the first 3 months, April, May, June, without the late fee, the last date is 3rd August. So assuming he is filing on 3rd August, so up until 11th August it would be available in the recipient July 2B. So April credit, even though someone is filing in a regular within the due date, the credit is available in July. So the recipient have to defer the claim of ITC till then. So that is how it would work. Now let me give you the critical distinction between 2A and 3B. So let's understand what does this difference. Firstly, we all know 2A is a dynamic report. Every time when I download 2A, there would be new entries coming up, because if a March return is being filed in the month of August now, it would go back and update in the 2A of March. So my March gets updated, right? So the recipient 2A gets updated whenever the supplier is filing. However, 2B is a static report. Data will not change at any point in time. It gets generated at the midnight of 11th and the data is frozen. It indicates these are the returns that are filed. Now if a supplier is uploading the invoice relating to Jan in May, it goes back to Jan. But if the supplier is uploading Jan in May, for the case of 2B, it stays in 2B of May. It is not going to change. So the 2A, the basis is the date of invoice and the return period. More than date of invoice, in which return period that is being shown, it gets updated in that 2A. However, for the 2B, it is not the document date, it is the date of filing of GSTR 1. So whenever it gets filed, that would come up. Another important point, in our 2A till date, we were not getting the details of import of the goods, but however, in 2B, the import of goods and other aspects would also be available. Now, how can I access this on the government portal? So to access this on the government portal, the button would be visible very soon on the GST portal returns dashboard. You will be selecting any return period. you will have to select GSTR2B. So something similar to this, what you are seeing on the screen would be visible to you. So auto drafted details for view only, GSTR2B, you are not going to take any action. For view only, you will be able to see something. So something very similar to this would be coming up. So what are the unique features of this GSTR2B? Is firstly, it is available for view and download as PDF, and there is a summary statement, and there are section wise details which are available. You can also text search basis on a vendor, basis on the document period. You can apply filter and download it. You can hide some columns, or you can, however you want, you can do it. Since the data is in a tabular form, you can sort the data with it. If the taxpayer has more than 1000 records, then they can use an advanced search and fetch the sum of the information. And an email and SMS, a trigger would be generated from the system saying that the 2B is ready, so that you can go ahead and download. So that is the feature that has been provided by the GSTN. So what are the practical tips which I would want you to consider and be aware of using of GSTR2B? Firstly, the taxpayers are advised to ensure that the data generated in 2B is correct, reconciled in their own books of accounts, because you know in 2A for the month of March you are seeing March. Suddenly in 2B of March you will be seeing the data of January 2, because someone has filed now. If you have already taken that credit in the month of Jan, you cannot now again take the credit, right? So no credit can be taken twice for any document under any circumstances, and the credit shall be reversed as per the act, because the ineligible credit what they have segregated is only based on the place of supply. I have mentioned clearly 17 subsection 1, 17 subsection 5 and 17 subsection 5 is not considered. The taxes that needs to be paid on reverse charge has to be voluntarily be disclosed and reported. It cannot be again done through 2B. So 2B consists of a summary statement which shows all the ITC available, not available under each section. So you have to ensure the action of availing it, not availing it. Just because an entry is there in 2B doesn't mean it is your credit, but yes, that would become a basis for you to comply with Rule 36 Sub-Rule 4. Friends, I know this is a new concept. It might take a time for you to understand, digest, but be aware that it will become a cash flow issue if there are any suppliers who are filing late. And also, if you are using 2B as a basis to avail the credit, you also may have to make sure if there are any credits which are availed in the past and appearing in current 2B, you should defer that. And yes, you still have the option of availing 10% for the missing credit basis the 2B. And this is just an initial video on the business document that is available to understand. More information would be available on the GSTZen YouTube channel to know more about how it needs to be done. So please subscribe to GSTZen YouTube and stay tuned, watch us for many new sessions. And GSTZen is a ASP who supports in GST return filings, so you can explore various features of GST related filing services on GSTZen. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you.